I was just about to click record on this video right here to talk about the Cradle of Filth situation, and then both Danny Filth and Zoe uploaded new statements, easily making this video 10 times better. So thank you, I appreciate it. Yes, it's time for another episode of Goth Maury-Povich as the Cradle drama just keeps spinning. If you are not up to speed, former members of Cradle of Filth, Zoe and Ashok, suddenly quit the band right in the middle of a tour, stating it was due to prolonging issues with the band and management. Danny Filth came out slandering them both as raging alcoholics. It's been a whole heavy metal he said, she said, dripped in eyeliner. But I do think this is a discussion that is much bigger and more important than just someone felt like they weren't getting paid enough. There's actually a lot more to this story that I feel like many people are missing completely. And it's not just a menage a trois of gossip, rumors, and slander. There's a whole history here of repeated behavior that has been spoken about in public many times before. And it's not just Cradle, it's a systematic problem with the entire music industry, really, including the metal industry, but Cradle just happens to be giving us a great look into it right now. So headbang the like button, stage dive onto the subscribe button, and windmill the video to your friends. And if you're a fan of my channel, consider becoming a member. Memberships are only 99 cents a month, and everyone really helps me toward my goal of building a life-size Godzilla to invade Canada. So in his first statement addressing the issue, Danny Filth claimed that Zoe and Ashok were both raging alcoholics that were causing problems behind the scenes. He said that there's long videos of Zoe drunk, and I've seen some fans of Cradle commenting saying that there's been videos of Zoe wasted and she's been deleting comments on it that are calling it out. Now, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible here. I have not seen a single one of these videos. And I looked. I searched on Instagram, on Google, on YouTube. Could not find a single video of Zoe drunk around fans. I have not seen a single picture of Zoe apparently wasted. I was following Zoe for a couple of years before she joined Cradle of Filth. I have never gotten the impression that she was a raging alcoholic in anyway. And again, not trying to be biased here. If you have a video of that, if you know where to find one of these videos on Reddit or something of Zoe apparently drunk causing problems around fans, send it to me. I'll put it in the next video to show, oh, it's actually true. But so far, I've not seen any proof of that, and I've tried looking. But with that said, Danny did post a new statement right now, and let's go over it. After a long day of reflection on the road, I want to make one final statement about recent events. So this will be, I think, his fourth final statement, and then Zoe's made about maybe 4 or 5 final statements. There's a lot of "we're not speaking on this again," followed immediately by another statement from both parties, to be honest. But he says, first, I'll acknowledge that in my last message, I let fatigue and frustration steer me into sharing more personal detail than was probably necessary. For that, I apologize. The truth of my account remains, but out of respect for everyone involved, I will not be commenting further on personal matters in public. What I must address, however, are the claims of theft and exploitation made against me, the band, and our management. These allegations are false and damaging. We maintain clear records that show otherwise, and any dispute will be dealt with properly, not through trial by social media. I also want to speak on something more personal. As Zoe and Ashok are aware, my mother is currently battling stage 4 cancer, a fight that takes all her strength. She has seen the wave of online attacks aimed at me, and it has only added to her distress. Whatever else is said, I hope we can all agree that dragging families into this storm is a cruelty none of us should wish on another. Now, let me be super careful here because I absolutely no disrespect to Danny's mother in any way. You're the one who dragged her into this out of fucking nowhere, dude. What the fuck? Nobody mentioned your mom at any point. This is after you dragged in the Osborne family on your last post, when no one mentioned that at any point. Not Zoe, not Ashok, not anyone mentioned anything about your mom. I'm gonna take a really strong guess in saying that people were not messaging your mom complaining about you. That is horrible. Your mother is battling stage 4 cancer. Why is she spending her time reading comments about you on Instagram? Nothing but care and hoping for the best for Danny's mom, 100%. That is fucking bullshit, dude. You pulled in your mom out of nowhere as a shield and you're going, please don't be mean to me. That's horseshit. Sorry, I would call that out for anybody. That is bullshit. He continued, to Zoe and Ashok, despite everything, I do wish you well. We shared great times together, and I'll always be grateful for those memories, but I won't let unfounded slander define this band or diminish the work we've put into it. The show must go on, and it's not a Christmas pantomime. Our focus remains on delivering these shows with the passion our fans deserve and on building a stronger, clearer foundation for all our musicians moving forward. So to recap, in his last post, he accused them of being raging alcoholics who were abusive to each other and their marriage is about to split up. He said all that out of nowhere, which he seems to be apologizing for now. And then he drags in his mom out of fucking nowhere and then is like, I wish you guys well, we had good times. This is abuser behavior. Do you guys not see that? In my own opinion, he is gaslighting and playing the victim card. Zoe and Ashok, as they will mention in their next post here, have never mentioned any personal slander of, they'd never brought up his mom. They never brought up any personal attacks in any way. They were entirely focused on the business practices not being fair at all. Yeah, I'm sorry, Danny, but in my opinion, in my personal, not legal advice opinion, that is fucking horseshit. So in response to that, Zoe posted saying, we'd like to issue a statement in response to the most recent one by Danny Filth. We consider it a positive step. I think great advice for both parties involved would be to stop talking publicly about it. Not because, oh, who cares about internet gossip, because lawyers. How did Danny Filth think that was a good thing to post? He had to have a lawyer being like, dude, shut the fuck up. Then again, neither him nor his attorney nor his management read a contract before signing it to the band, so who fucking knows what they were doing. Zoe said, we know your mother is battling cancer and we wish her well in this. As I recall, I'm one of the first people in the band that you told. I've been praying for her ever since, and I condemn anyone who tries to drag her into this. That said, we didn't go public with personal issues we've had involving anyone's day-to-day behavior. We strongly support anyone's journey into sobriety. Our focus remains the business issues and the business environment. We dispute any claim that alcoholism or alcohol use led to this current situation. We maintain it was months of trying to talk to you, Dan, trying to get you to understand the plight of the people who work for you. Your silence and stonewalling became deafening. We left because every indication you gave instilled in us the impression that you didn't care, and what's worse, you did indeed allow management to mislead and to lie to us. The responsibility for these things at the end of the day falls on you. We are disappointed that you went for personal issues and speculation on our marriage, and we still have no plans to go for personal attacks on you. We want the best for you and your new family with Sophia. We want you to get better as a leader, Dan. We want you to run the band better and treat people better. No one wants the end of Cradle of Filth as an artistic concept. It's an institution of great creativity that gives people joy. We and the others want the end of you letting bad deals hurt people. We tried to talk to you for months about all of this. It didn't have to go this way. Take care of the people who write music for you and play shows for you. We will probably and unfortunately see you next in court, but never doubt for a moment I can see the human being in you and the twinges of a conscience. Peace be with you. She's way more polite than I would be. I said it in the last video, but I'll say it here again in case you didn't watch an hour-long gossip talk about all this, but I am what I would say acquaintances with Zoe. I never hung out with her as friends and chatted like that, but I was aware of her as a pool girl on 70,000 Tons of Metal, so I was aware of her before Cradle of Filth. That said, I'm not trying to play a bias here and just join someone's side because I'm more of their fan than the other or anything like that. If Danny Filth provided solid evidence that showed that she was lying and everything he said was completely true, I would make a video saying she was completely full of shit. Danny was right. But as of this moment, Zoe has been complaining about the business practices and the payment behind it, and she posted the contract for everybody to see. And Danny has went for personal attacks, calling them alcoholics who are having a rocky marriage, saying that they're going to attack his mom and whatever. That alone is not a good look for which side is telling the truth here. Not only that, but Danny's claims that his management are professional and all the claims against them are slander and bullshit from just jealous people. Well, the history of public evidence doesn't really back that up, Danny boy. If you count people who have played on Cradle of Filth albums and toured with the band, played with them live, there have been about 40 former members of Cradle of Filth. 40. tea. And several of them have spoken publicly before about the problems with management. Lindsay Schoolcraft, the former keyboardist and vocalist before Zoe joined the band, posted just the other day saying, "I've been asked a lot this past week as to why I haven't come out with the full story of what happened to me in my old band and the details around why I truly left versus the Band-Aid statement of mental health." Because at the time it was stated she just left for her own mental health. The reason I haven't fully spoken out yet is that if/when I do come forward, I will need legal representation and counseling, and in Canada that can cost me upwards of tens of thousands of dollars based on my case. I've sunken a lot of my business and personal finances into completing marketing my next album this year, so I don't have the financial means to fight this right now. Plus it will be a lot of reliving my trauma from gathering all the receipts, and I also don't have the mental capacity or energy to do that at the moment either. I know and believe my reason is also the reason as to why other members are not coming forward. The most abusive people in our industry hide behind their money and power, lawyers. They've spent decades building off of exploiting others everywhere in every which way they can. Something that is gruelingly exhausting to fight against when you exit with a broken spirit and low income, which makes the option of moving on in silence the most logical choice, even when your story is the truth and you have proof. I am really, really proud of Zoe and Ashok for breaking the silence, and to other past members and crew who have spoken up on the absolutely unethical work environment that band is. Please know I am better these days and thriving far away from that chaos. I came so close to losing my life back then, and unfortunately Zoe and Ashok had to lose a future child because of it. No one should have to tolerate any of this when desiring a dream of being a career musician and wanting to work in our industry. No one. I'm sure this opens the door to many more questions, those of which may be answered one day. Please know my silence isn't compliance. It never was. It has been practical and survival. Thank you. Here's an interview with Lindsay from 9 months ago discussing her time in Cradle.
I was such a yes person, willing to prove myself and hyperextend myself. They took advantage and they got into my head and truly made me believe that I was a nobody and I wasn't worth shit. And if I didn't, I think it wasn't just an exit from the band. I think it was an exit from the industry for a little bit too.
Yep.
Because I was going to take my life. Like I was just like, this is bad. This is really bad. And I don't feel like anyone respects me. And I have to save myself. No one's going to come rescue me. I have to do it for me. And that was the best decision I ever made for myself. And now I'm slowly coming back to it with like really good people in my corner. So the music industry isn't all bad. You just have to find the good ones and like cling on to them for dear life and treat them well.
What kind of culture did Danny create in the space?
He lets his business people take care of things.
Got it.
So really,
yeah.
So really, I think it was more the business people like that we were all kind of extended to. It was just, you know, man, we just all want like better communication and like to feel like we're involved as band members. Like that'd be cool. But I also understand business is business, and having five other opinions slows things down. And if you just want to get to the point and, you know, make your money and continue to be able to fuel to make art, that's why you kind of cut out a bunch of people. But you forget like they're people with needs. And if you want them to stay for a long time, you do need to take care of them. You do need to listen to them and factor in that like they may need something here and there. And it's not really what I thought was like, I don't think they were big asks, but it got to the point for me. I was just like, well, I'm not valued here. No one's listening to me. No one really respects me. So I'm out. Like, this is never going to change.
This is from an interview with Richard Shaw. He was the guitarist for Cradle of Filth for about 7 years.
It was all the behind the scenes stuff kind of got to me after a while. It just got to a point where you find out things that you don't like the sound of that's been going on for a while, and I don't know, a lot of drama and BS. But this is the thing, touring and writing and recording is the dream. It really is. But to me, it came at quite a high cost, and I wasn't willing to pay that cost, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Me, the keyboard player, and all but one of the crew didn't want to pay that cost. So I had to basically hire all new crew as well as a new keyboard player and a new guitar player. And
Jesus, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, you'd think, wouldn't you? If, I don't know, there's a side of me that thinks if you just treat people better, it'll be less hassle.
Yeah, I'm always surprised.
In a nutshell, just treat people better and show them respect that they're they deserve, and people kind of stick around. I never made a living off of Cradle of Filth. Like, never. I had to do other things in order to supplement those earnings. Don't get me wrong, like when I was on tour, I was getting paid and it was okay. Again, to be perfectly honest, not what it should have, but it was okay. Like, I had a lot of those opportunity costs being in Cradle where I turned down bigger gigs. To be 100% honest, I turned down some big gigs because I was doing like 4 shows with Cradle. I would have to turn down a 6-week tour with a bigger band.
Yep.
Because I was loyal to Cradle. Mm-hmm. And then there comes a point where you think, well, I don't think Cradle are loyal to me. Mm-hmm. So, to be completely honest about it.
No, absolutely.
And then you think back of those moments going, why did I do this? Yes, I was loyal to Cradle, but certain people hold it over your head. It's like, well, we gave you a career, so you need to stay. And when you hear that one too many times, you start thinking, like certain people mention this, it's like, we gave you a career. It's like, I was already a musician way before I joined Cradle, you know? It's like, yes, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I did some incredible things. I'd like to think I'm still going to do some incredible things. This isn't the end of my career.
It's all over, man.
I'm just, if this is it, and certain people in the Cradle camp were like, well, if you leave, you're done. You'll never play with another band again. You'll never work in this business again, was literally how I was met with from this particular person.
Wow.
Which made me kind of go, well, you're a bully now. You're bullying me into staying. That's not exactly going to keep me around, is it? This particular person, I was just like, I can't work with this person anymore. And I can't stress this enough. It's I think it spells it out, but it's nobody in the band. But when certain people are making decisions on your behalf and you think they're the wrong decisions, it's time to go. I've already got the imposter syndrome thing happening, and then when you've got a certain person saying, well, you're not going to work again. Literally, think about your family. You'll never work again if you leave this band, was the parting words by this person when I sent an email saying I'm going. And it's stuff like that where you think, that's
a dick move.
That's just manipulation now. You're trying to guilt trip me, using my family to guilt trip me into staying.
This is from an interview with Sarah Jezebel Deva. She was the operatic vocalist in Cradle of Filth for 14 years.
I can categorically say there was a lot of bullying going on. A hell of a lot of bullying. Putting people down, belittling people, you know, making them feel bad about themselves, ripping them apart. And that came from a few areas. That's why I kept my mouth shut for so long. Yet I was called gobby, not to be trusted, big mouth. I kept my mouth closed. That's why I was probably in Cradle so long, because I allowed myself to be treated like crap.
Yeah, the truth never gets you into trouble. It's lying that does. That's you know, and the truth can cause waves. But
I have been threatened to stop talking.
Really?
About
who by?
Oh, that doesn't matter. But I was threatened to stop talking. But I'm like, well, you're going to have to go through all the other interviews, you know, because I'm telling you my experiences and my views and thoughts.
And this is from Nick Barker. He was the drummer for Cradle of Filth in the 90s.
For those who don't know, Filth, he has nothing, he's not a musician, he doesn't write any music. He's all about the image, the business, and the lyrics. You know, he's the businessman. As you can probably tell with the revolving door of band members over the past 25 years or whatever. Well, I left first, and it was Les and Stewart were the ones that left 6 months later. But I wish we would have all left together, and then we could have audited the band, because there was a lot of discrepancies and everything. There's a lot of politics and shit involved, and you know, resentment started kicking in. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of bad management, you know, and you know, Filth was all a part of it as well. I mean, we were selling out 1,500 to 2,000 capacity venues in Europe, which were probably on a back-end deal after break-even as well. And we rode in at the shittiest tour bus you can imagine, very basic crew. and we were only coming home with like merch profit. So, you know, where's all the money going? And of course, when I questioned management about this, I was accused of rocking the boat. And, well, nobody else wants to see the accounts, Nick, so why do you? Why do you always have to make trouble? Yeah. And that pretty much, that was the red flag that said, you know what, you're all fucked, I'm out of here. If me and Les and Stu would have quit at the same time, we're all on the same page, I would have instigated auditing Cradle of Filth and the management, see where all the money's gone, because there was thousands. I mean, we were the biggest band, you know, and we're riding in a shitty tour bus that fucking breaks down every 200 kilometers with a minimum crew, and we're selling out 1,500 to 2,000 capacity venues. You know, why am I only coming home with merchandise profit?
Has
Danny
reached out to you in the intervening years at all?
No, he wouldn't reach out to me. I mean, you know, our paths have crossed at festivals and stuff, you know, and he's overly nice to me. But it's like, you know, I don't like the guy and I don't respect him because, you know, he fucked us all over. And, you know, there's thousands and thousands of pounds unaccountable for, you know, and I'm not a greedy person. I just want my slice of the pie, you know. And the thing is, if he'd have done the right thing, we'd have probably stayed with him, you know, but he didn't. So, you know, he broke up the band and the band's never been the same since.
But I'm sure all of this is just a big, big coincidence, and everything with the band has always run perfectly. And what do you know, right as I was about to upload this video, Ashok has made another statement on the situation. He says, to Dan after last post, and I believe this will be the end of public statements from my side and my wife's as long as it is end from his side. I know this is grating everyone. Me too, but private convos did not sort anything for months. Understand it was last resort to go public. I am usually most silent person even when I am hurt, which is why it took 12 years to properly say all this. Here are my hands. The hands I used to serve you for 12 years. To write and play music for you, I gave you these hands. Your mom is always a great person to me and I wish her healing. Her heart is huge as far as I ever knew. However, it feels low to me to use her right now as excuse when we all know she's been sick since last year. Everyone has been there for you and supportive, Dan. We all give so much love and support to her as soon as you tell us. I lost my own mother to sudden medical tragedy and I never even said goodbye to her. There was no time. She never saw me on stage with Cradle. She haunts me every day, but her memory tells me to be better man and treat others better. I would never use her as excuse for hurting others. If you respect mothers, then why twist our tragedy of miscarriage into something that was not true of my wife? She never drank while pregnant. However, her doctor told her the lack of sleep, irregular schedule, constant pressure of management threatening her job if she did anything they didn't like, and all of this more than likely contributed to her body rejecting pregnancy. She exhibits high signs of the stress she is under. It is true we cannot blame it all on you, but for you to assume she was drinking with the pregnancy was low, because we all know there is very little that is worse to accuse women of than killing her own child. I saw many times rest of band would protest or argue with you and management, but only Zoe was singled out to be mocked and punished. Even now your fans call her crazy, but I can guarantee every man in the band has said the same things she is saying. I am saying it too. There was never same respect for my wife there was for opinions of the men. And it seems the opinions of the men were already low to begin with. You once had my respect and full loyalty. Respect you lost a while ago and loyalty you threw away not long ago. Even when I stopped respecting you, when it was obvious you did not care about us, I stayed loyal until you respond to heartfelt plea to give us better chance for living with that sordid contract, which every session member knows you sent with instructions to sign as soon as possible. No one has a shitty contract just lying around to be sent by mistake. To not take ownership even now for the many ways in which you screw us all, it is not surprising, but it is still sad, Dan, because again, even after years of being treated disposable, I wrote my heart and soul into albums for you, because I love music and I love the joy of the fans. It is sad that you could not take responsibility for these issues in private, and now they are public, so we all are caught in giant storm. This is on you for not allowing anything to be handled privately. Just ignore, ignore, ignore everything we tried to tell you for a long time. I wish I could see a man when I look at you, Dan. but I don't. I see excuses. In time, all will come to light, as I do not believe we will be last to say something. Although it is now obvious why 40 other ex-members never did say much. It has been hell for us to speak up, but I do not regret it. Treat my brothers still in the band better, if there is any honor left in you. They are damn good people and will always have my love and support. That is the entire goal we have. Like I said at the beginning of this video, there's a bigger lesson here, a bigger message than just two people in a band complaining. This practice that Cradle does with their session members, which basically exploits them for cheaper labor, there are lots of established bands like that operate like that these days. And it's not all of them, but if you dream of becoming a professional musician, if your goal in life is to be up there with one of your favorite bands, you've got to be real careful about, is it actually worth it? You got to really read the contract. You've got to get all these details nailed down. You got to hear what their reputation is from other people. And sometimes it might really not be worth it to be able to say that you used to be in this big band. Many people dream of becoming a professional musician, and it can be great. You can make good money off of it if you're smart. But there can also be a lot of bullshit. And if nobody speaks up about that bullshit, it will just continue to keep shitting. But that is it for this update on Heavy Metal Springer. Join us next time for an exciting episode of Cradle of Filth. For more from me, check out my band Dark Insanity. You can find our debut EP, Rabid Psychosis, available now on all streaming platforms. September 20th, we have the Bleed for the Cause show coming up. Enjoy some awesome death metal and wrestling, all for a good cause. And October 16th, we are playing with Carnivore AD at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood. Hit up me or the band for tickets. We've got Wyatt's Metal and Dark Insanity merch available now in my shop. We've also got hoodies, hats, buttons, stickers. We even have Dark Insanity weed bags. Link is in the description of this video. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.